Hello, Ms. Garcia. My name is Katrina Soto, and today I will be talking to you about domestic violence in the United States. Why do women stay in violent relationships, and what can we do as a society to help them and bring awareness to this matter? It is not something that is talked about very often, but that doesn't mean it isn't a problem. 4 women are killed every single day in the United States by someone they're in a relationship with. As alarming as this statistic is, it shows how dangerous an abusive relationship can be and raises many questions. For example, why didn't the woman leave the relationship once she knew her partner was abusive? Or why didn't they just tell someone about it and get help? For people that have never experienced an abusive relationship, this is easier said than done. Leaving an abusive relationship is so much more than getting up and walking away from it. It is important for us to help women in these types of situations because they feel like they are helpless, like there is no way out of it. It is our job to show them that we see the silent epidemic happening in the United States and their cries for help. It is also important for us to know why women stay in these types of relationships so we can work to bring down the death rate and know how to help someone if they are ever in this situation. These women find it hard to leave these relationships because of fear of their partner, how in love they are, and worrying about how they will support themselves without their partner. Fear is one of the biggest factors that keep women from leaving abusive relationships. Whether it is fear of losing their lives or fear of making their partner angry, it keeps these women from freeing themselves. It is said that women who are killed by their intimate partners are killed once they have left or have threatened to leave. If someone was threatening to kill you, would you try anything that would even slightly anger them? That is the position that women are in. One domestic violence victim, Alexandra Briggs, said her partner had me in a chokehold against the wall, saying, "I'm going to kill you. No one will ever find your body. No one cares about you," which shows how volatile and dangerous these relationships can be. They have to make this impossible decision, knowing that whatever they choose, it could possibly end with them losing their life. There is a statistic that proves this, which states that 70% of domestic violence murders happen after the victim has left the relationship. This shocking statistic shows that more than half of the time, a woman isn't even safe if she does distance herself from her partner. Domestic violence has gotten so dangerous that the victim would rather endure the abuse than risk losing their lives to escape it. Love is another factor that has women stuck in abusive relationships. The thought of being in love makes it much harder for a woman to leave the abusive relationship. In her article from The Atlantic, Olga Kazan stated more than half of domestic violence victims still see their partners as dependable. These women feel like they are the only people that can help their partners. Beverly Gooden, an abusive victim, used her experience as an example to why some women stay in these types of relationships, tweeting, "I thought that love would conquer all." While another abuse victim said, "I believed I was the only one that could love him and heal him." Love is what keeps these women from leaving these relationships. According to Eliana Doctorman's article, women are so focused on the positive and end up staying in the relationship, waiting for the next positive in hopes that it will get better. These abuse victims stick around because they want for their relationship to go back to the way it was before the abuse started. This may seem absurd to an outsider looking in, but these women will do anything for the love they so desperately wanted again, even if it means enduring the abuse. Worrying about financial stability is one of the biggest factors that keeps these women from leaving their abusive relationships. This was proven in a study of Texas abuse victims, where the number one reason cited for returning home was financial. These women are under constant control of their abusers and can't help become financially dependent on them because it is all the victim is taught. Money is the key to living a prosperous life, and when these women can't even own their own job, how can we expect them to get up and leave their abusive relationships? They won't have the support they had before, that they were so dependent on, and will stay in these relationships for that stability. Author Jodi Kantor said, "It's incredibly difficult to extricate yourself when you're financially dependent. The hardship continues on even after these women leave these abusive relationships, because they have to worry about how they're going to survive on their own, which is why they'd rather stay in these relationships and get the stability they need than leave and have the weight of stress caused by leaving their abuser." Cass, an abuse victim, related to financial dependence, saying, "That's scary. The fear of doing it yourself was a huge obstacle, proving that economic concerns was yet another barrier keeping women in abusive relationships." Even with these struggles, most battered women still don't get the help and support they need. And even when they do, sometimes it is too late. To avoid this, we need to know how to approach someone in need. According to loveisrespect.org, we can help by first helping them realize that the abuse isn't their fault. This is important because some of the victims are made to believe they somehow deserved the abuse, which is never the case. When helping abused women, it is important to make sure that they feel supported and respected, because it is something that they haven't had being in an abusive relationship. In precarious situations, such as abusers that have gone as far as attempting to kill their victim, we need to make a different approach, a more safe approach. In situations like that, the help is desperately needed, but the abuser is so dangerous that the women need more than moral support. According to Sandra Berman, women need a safety plan when the situation is dangerous. This is needed because if their partner finds out about the help, the victim could be in more danger than they were before, which is why we need to be more cautious and safe. Families should never approach the victim's abuser or make any negative comments about them for the same reason, risking the victim's safety. To help them, we could help them make an emergency contact list, find safe places in their house, and have an escape route if they ever want to leave at any moment. This is helpful in any situation of domestic violence because it is so unpredictable of what could happen to the woman at any given moment. We need to help these women because they deserve so much more than what they have experienced in their abusive relationship. Now that you have a better understanding of why women stay in these abusive relationships and how you can help them, a change needs to be made in how domestic violence is seen in the United States. Fear, love, and financial stability are all obstacles that keep women from leaving abusive relationships. To someone who has never seen or been in an abusive relationship, these reasons will seem preposterous or even as an excuse. But how can we judge what these women decide if we've never experienced what they have? It is said that for no other type of crime do we place as much responsibility for the crime on the victim than we do for victims of domestic violence. We need to show these women that they are not alone and helpless in their abusive situations, instead of making them feel like they have to face it alone. This change needs to happen now by bringing awareness of domestic violence across the country and letting people know that it can happen to anybody. This effort could save lives and let the women know that we are here for them. If you were a victim of domestic violence, wouldn't you want help?